thoughts on Sylvano?
I can't say anything bad about the guy. He taught me. I mean, he taught me
He's
to
old school.
respect. Yeah,
He's
he
old
taught me to respect the business and to respect you back. Keep your mouth shut, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and that's what you do. I may not have liked him right off the bat. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of moves that he's taught all of us that I said, I'll never do that. I can never do that. My biggest fear was doing a backdrop. One day we were doing backdrops, and I was like, oh, man, I just want to get out of this ring and go home. But I did it, and I was like, wow, this is pretty great.
Because a lot of people I've talked to, even though they respect him and they know him, they called him when he was training, and he was the mentor back then. They called him, and excuse my English on TV, but they called him a tough ass.
He was tough at times.
He was tough, yeah.
But you know what? The way he ran the locker room, it was like we were his kids. You know what I mean? Yeah, he would get on us because he wanted us to do the right thing the right way. He wanted us to do it professionally, to make it perfect. I mean, nobody's perfect, but when I put my boots on going into a show and he wanted me to do what I had to do, I did it. With no questions asked. Yeah, we've had our run-ins. I didn't want to do a couple things he wanted me to do, but I did it. Made me a better person. He's a great guy. You know what I mean? Like you said, he did his job. You know, he worked with the Brunos. He worked with the Hulks. And, you know, he put them over. You know what I mean? Nobody ever sees the guys that put over the big guys. You know, they just see the big guys.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
First, I'm gonna grab a name. WCW roster. Let's throw out one of the. Again, no disrespect. Let's throw out one of the rookie names. Let's say for example, I'm high on JT Dunn. I mean, I think he's got the look now. He's got it, and over time, he's gonna accomplish something. Now, if Sylvano came in and sat down with JT, what's that one thing you would tell him? Because you've taken on JT.
Yeah.
And you know he may be egotistical, he may be arrogant, but this is professional wrestling. That's what you need.
Yeah.
If he sat down, what would Sylvano tell him?
I think he would tell him, slow down. You know what I mean? Listen to what we have to say.
Slow down and tell a story.
Yep.
Because wrestling is a soap opera.
And, you know, if he would train that kid would be twice as good as he is. Don't get me wrong, the kid's really good right now.
Yeah.
But if he had Sylvano Souza training him, he'd be much better.
Yeah.
And I think he would go far.
Because I got a lot of feedback after the last show. But a half a dozen of workers mentioned, "Wow, he's getting good." I'm not going to put anybody on the spot. It's about a half a dozen of the workers that were at the Corky Road Club that did mention him by name, and I'm just like, you know, it's only he's at the right point at the right time. He's got the strap. Take it for all it's worth. But remember, I said, there's one thing you can't forget. Don't forget where you came from.
That's right.
Because when that ego gets just a little bit too big.
But you know something about the ego? I don't think the kid will have an ego.
No, I'm not saying him in general.
Like, there's the Bakers, there's me, there's Ash.
Knock it off your shoulder.
Yeah, there's Stryker. All the guys that have been there for a while. And Jamie, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We'll keep that kid focused. Mm-hmm. He's a real good kid. I mean, like I say, when I first started, you know, we were all friends because that's what we all started. Yeah. But as we grew into a company, you see guys come and you see guys go. Mm-hmm. So you try not to associate yourself with all these guys, you know. Try not to befriend the guys coming in until they earn your respect. Mm-hmm. One of the guys, going back, is Louie Silva.
Good friends.
Yes. But when Louie came in, Louie had the biggest head anybody's ever had coming into an indie corporation. Mm-hmm. Nobody liked the kid. But in the locker room, he was the same way.
No kidding.
So he would come in and, you know, he'd be his little arrogant self. But, you know, we pull him aside and we talk to him. You know, this is just for a half hour of one night that you're that man.
On the weekend.
Yeah. The other time, you're Louie Silva. Mm-hmm. The kid grasped that, and we kind of took him under our wing, you know what I mean?
And you can see the difference after that.
Yep. And now, I would do anything for that kid.
Let me ask you another person, because I'm looking at you now as the veteran giving advice. Now, we talked about Louie Silva, And if I speak of Louie Silva, there's another name that I got to throw out, which is another good friend of mine, Eric Trundy, who went by Rage, another guy who sat down, listened. And I know he's going to be watching this, so I'm not putting you on the spot.
I know, no, that's fine. You can put me on the spot with Eric Trundy.
Because he's got nothing but good things to say about
Eric Trundy, he was trained the right way. Baker trained that kid. Okay, he came in. He's not. It's not a Louie Silva type deal. He came in with his mouth shut and eyes open, ears open.
Which is the way you were taught.
Yeah, and he earned our respect, and we love that kid. Okay, as far as Louie, we love Louie because we turned Louie into what he is now. Not as a man, but as a performer. And he understood where we were coming from. Don't have a big head. Come in, do your job. Do what's asked of you. And he bought into it, and he did a fantastic job. Phenomenal.
Well, after you told him, I think he was bigger than he ever was.
Yeah. After that, he was unstoppable, that kid. And him and Eric, they were perfect. You know what I mean?
They had some great matches together.
Yeah, they had great matches together. And, it does me good to see that because we helped them. You know what I mean? And as coming from an old vet, they may say, he doesn't know anything, he doesn't know anything. But we know a lot.
Now, has either of them later on came and say, Redemption,
They have.
Thank you for what you taught me?
But you know what? They don't need to. They don't need to. I know, and they know.
Just by showing it in the ring?
Yep.
Okay.
Just by showing the respect. Whenever they come up, I'm one of the first guys they come over to say hello to. Baker, me, Ash. I would.
They would tear down the house.
I would pay to see that. That's how much respect and love I have for them. I would pay to see that match because I know already how that match would go. It would go flawless. Well, I wouldn't say flawless because they're a little bit rusty, you know what I mean? But they know each other so well that they could put on a great match and it would go over anywhere.